Okay, so let's get right into it. We've got a puzzle on our hands. A tiny stretch of water, just 39 kilometers wide, is basically holding the entire global economy hostage. And get this, the world's most powerful military seems, well, completely unable to solve it. That's the paradox we're diving into today.
So you have to ask, right? Why can't the world's strongest navy just secure a waterway you could literally fly across in about 3 minutes? Well, the answer isn't what you'd think. It's not about having more missiles or bigger ships. It's all about geography, economics, and a really clever strategy that completely flips the script, turning all that strength into a major weakness.
All right, just look at this matchup. On one side, you've got a U.S. carrier strike group. I mean, this is a floating fortress, literally the most powerful naval force in human history. And on the other side, a narrow 39-kilometer channel of water. It looks like a total mismatch, doesn't it? But here's the thing. In this very specific story, geography becomes the ultimate equalizer.
Okay, before we get into the whole military mystery of it all, we really need to understand what's at stake here. Because, and this is key, this isn't just some regional squabble. We're talking about a genuine threat to the entire global economic system. Everyone is affected.
Think about it for a second. The modern world. Pretty much everything you own, everything you eat, everything you use, it's delivered by sea. The oceans are the arteries of our economy. Just like any circulatory system, there are these critical choke points, these places that are incredibly, dangerously vulnerable. I mean, we all remember the Ever Given, right? That one ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal for just 6 days. 6 days! And it cost the world over $136 billion. But here's the kicker. The Strait of Hormuz is infinitely more critical. And unlike the Suez, there's no way around it. It's irreplaceable. Just look at these numbers. The amount of energy concentrated here is staggering. The Persian Gulf isn't just another oil field, it's basically the planet's energy heart. We're talking half of the world's proven oil reserves and almost half of its natural gas. And the Strait of Hormuz, that's the only tap, the only way out.
So where does all that oil and gas go? Well, the vast majority of it, over 3/4, is flowing east. It's what powers the factories in China, Japan, South Korea, India, the manufacturing engine of the entire world. And this dependency is it's hard to wrap your head around. Take Japan, for example. That huge slice you see there? 90%. That's how much of its energy has to come through this one single choke point. So for huge industrial economies like Japan, South Korea, and India, a blockage isn't just some inconvenience or a dip in the market. No, it's an existential threat, a complete shutdown.
And let's be crystal clear, this isn't just an Asia problem. Oil is a global commodity. A shutdown here kicks off this devastating 3-stage chain reaction. First, factories in Asia just stop. Then global oil prices could absolutely explode, maybe past $200 a barrel. And finally, that price shock would send ripples everywhere, triggering a global financial crisis that would cripple everything from airlines to farming.
Okay, so if the entire global economy is on the line, the obvious question is, why not just send in the Navy and clear the path? Well, this is where we get to the military side of things. This is where we enter the kill zone, and we're about to see why brute force just doesn't work here.
You see, the strait itself is the weapon. The shipping lanes are incredibly narrow, only about 3.7 kilometers wide in each direction. So these huge, slow-moving supertankers are forced into these predictable, single-file lines. They become sitting ducks. This is what military planners call a kill zone, the perfect place for an ambush. Now, Iran knows it can't win a conventional head-to-head naval battle, so it doesn't even try to fight one. It plays a totally different game, asymmetric warfare. Instead of billion-dollar warships, they use cheap, surprisingly effective tools. Think missiles launched from hidden spots on the coast, giving defenders mere seconds to react. Think swarms of thousands of cheap drones designed to overwhelm even the most advanced defense systems. And maybe the most important piece of the puzzle, for them, this is a fight for survival, which means they're willing to accept massive losses, a price the other side simply can't and won't pay.
And this isn't just some abstract war game. For the thousands of sailors on these ships, this is a terrifying daily reality. Imagine the choice they're facing. Sit here and wait to run out of food and water, or make a run for it through that kill zone, knowing you could be a target at any second.
But okay, here's where the story takes a really interesting twist. Because the real weapon that's shutting down this strait, it isn't a missile or a drone. It's a spreadsheet. Yeah, you heard me. The real battle isn't being fought on the water, it's being fought in the global insurance markets. See, here's the thing. Iran doesn't actually have to sink a ship. They don't have to sink one every day or even every week. In fact, they don't even have to successfully hit a single one.
Because it's all about the risk. The mere threat, that constant nagging uncertainty that something could happen, that alone is enough to bring global shipping to a screeching halt. You don't need an actual attack when the possibility of an attack does the job for you.
And that's exactly what's happening. The financial markets have accomplished what the missiles couldn't. The big insurance companies, they look at this risk and they react. How? By jacking up the insurance premiums for a single trip through the strait by as much as 1,000%.
So a single 7-day trip for one of these supertankers, something that used to be just a normal cost of doing business, can now come with an insurance bill of $7.5 million. That's not just expensive, that's prohibitive. It makes the whole journey economically impossible for most companies.
So what's the result? Well, right now, there are over 1,500 ships just stuck. They're not trapped by cannons or warships, they're trapped by a risk calculation on a computer screen in an office that's probably thousands of miles away. It's a financial blockade.
And all of this leads us to a pretty grim conclusion. If the world's most powerful navy can't fix it, and the financial markets have already shut it down, well, there are really only two ways to open the strait back up. And honestly, both of them are catastrophic.
Okay, so option 1, a ground war, a full-scale occupation. But think about this. Based on what we saw in Iraq, it could take 8 years or more just to handle the aftermath. The global economy can't survive 8 months of this blockage, let alone 8 years. So what's option 2? An unlikely peace, a negotiated deal. But right now, neither side seems to be in a position where that's even possible. So it's a stalemate, and the clock is ticking.
So this 39-kilometer paradox, it really shows us something startling about the world we live in. It's this incredible, powerful, interconnected system, but it's also unbelievably fragile. All it takes is one choke point, one clever strategy, and just the risk of a fight to bring the whole thing to its knees. The world's economy is on a countdown, and the real question isn't if time will run out, but what happens when it does.